Hello and welcome to my vlog. Um, I've posted some short videos on Facebook in regards to some of the things that I go through or have been going through to kind of update people on my friends list and so forth in regards to me. So I was encouraged to maybe start a vlog. And so this is the first one. So please bear with me. I'm brand new to this. So part of the reason for doing this is, again, that ability to maybe, instead of just some short videos, have a place that people that want to know what's going on with me can routinely check in and see. And maybe I might inspire, if I can inspire somebody that's discouraged or, whatnot about their situation, then great. I don't know who might or who might not watch this, but it's going to be made available to anybody. My name is Ernie Fowler, and you might have noticed already by checking the details of YouTube. And I am 54 years old. I am a left below the knee amputee. I also have diabetes type 2, but I'm treated with insulin. I wear an insulin pump. I have chronic renal disease. Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out how to maybe edit that other stuff out that just happened. My cradle that I had just fell off. So anyway, chronic renal disease, on dialysis since August of 2017. August 2017 is when I lost my leg. I was in a care center from the end of August until the beginning of December, and I've been home since then. I live alone. I have a cat, a black cat named Angelo, and I have family scattered all over the United States. I currently live in Marion, Iowa. And so that's just a few things about me as far as what has led me to want to make this vlog. I'm going to attempt to maybe do one a week. I don't think I have enough to say every day, but we'll see. I don't know how this is going to go. So, let's see. Other things just to kind of set the basis. So, it is September 17th, 2018. I'm going to definitely try to date these videos in the description so people can watch them in order. I'm going to try not to repeat myself, but I tend to do that at this age, like a lot of people. I'm not driving. I happen to be in my car. This is a good space for me. It's quiet. I don't have the vehicle running. I am going to have to open my window, though. It's a little warm, and I didn't want to have the van running while I recorded this. So anyway, moving forward. So just to give you the real backstory, I've fought with diabetes for almost 30 years. I had a tragic hospitalization back in 1992, in which I was admitted to the hospital with acute pancreatitis. I'd never heard that term before, and just to sum that up, I came as close to death as I have ever been in my life. I was in the hospital for 3 months. 2 weeks after I was admitted, my wife at the time gave birth to my first daughter, and in the same hospital, one floor beneath where I was in the ICU. For those medical people out there, I was never intubated. Came very close to being intubated, but never was. And most of that time I don't recall, because I was on such massive doses of painkillers that there's huge chunks of time that I have no memory of. So I was out of work for that was February of 92. I got home the beginning of May of that year, and I was out of work up until the fall when I was ready to return. I was 27 years old at the time. So shortly after that, I went to school, back to college. I'd done a lot of different things. You know, you've heard the expression, jack of all trades, master of none. That was me. I did everything from carpentry to develop photos back when they used to have Photoshops. You know, you drop your film off and come back 2 days later or whatever, and it'd be done. I did that for a while. Installed water beds, worked in a lumber yard. I mean, I just was all over the place. But I went back to college and became a respiratory therapist, a registered respiratory therapist, and I've done that up until April of last year, 2017. So about 19, 20 years. So April of last year, like I said, I battled with diabetes for quite a long time. Previously, I'd lost 2 toes on my right foot due to diabetes, due to infection. You get an ulcer or something on the bottom of your foot that you can't feel because of the neuropathy, and next thing you know, it's in a flaming infection. Anyway, so April of 2017, I noticed on my left foot a small sore. I immediately went to the doctors, and they immediately put me into the hospital and started treating that. I was actually in the hospital because I was pretty sick. It came on real quick, and I was in the hospital for just short of a month. And then I went home, and as an outpatient, I had a wound vac. I won't go into the details of that. You can Google that. And I started hyperbaric oxygen therapy daily, and getting IV antibiotics every other day. So it was quite the process, and I did that through the summer until I woke up one day in August and couldn't breathe. Being a respiratory therapist, I had understood the severity of it and drove myself to the ER. I was in acute kidney failure, respiratory distress, fluid overload, which wasn't a surprise. I'd started seeing a kidney doctor about 2 years prior, and he told me that at some point, due to my diabetes, my kidneys were failing, slowly but surely, And at some point, I would be on dialysis. It's not a question about if, it was just when. And I would need a kidney transplant. So, August of last year, that's what happened. I went into the hospital. Within a week, they had noticed that the infection that had been in my left foot had creeped up into the ankle bone, and they needed to amputate my leg before it got much further, and I possibly could have lost my whole leg. So I had, like I said, a below the knee left transtibular amputation, and about 2 weeks after that, and they also had started dialysis emergently. So 2 weeks after that, I was out of the initial woods, but there was no way I could go home. So they placed me in a care center. I'm sorry, I need to adjust myself here. Called Manor Care. And I spent the next 4 months there recovering, rehabilitating, and getting ready to get an artificial leg. I got that in November, and like I said, in December I went home. So since November, I've been on dialysis 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, every week. And I've had my artificial leg, and basically my job now is to maintain my health and continue to get better. I never thought I'd be out of work this long originally, and right now my biggest issue is the dialysis in regards to possibly going back to work. And I'll talk about this in more detail in further blogs. But the dialysis is very exhausting, and even though as a therapist I only worked 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts though, and being that I have to be in dialysis 3 days a week, I'm not sure if I could handle it. The biggest issue though is finances. So what do? You're too young to be on, Medicare, and so now you're out of work. Fortunately, I was able to qualify for disability due to the chronic kidney failure, not losing my leg. So, and I also had long-term disability through the hospital that I worked at. It took me a long time to get insurance though, because now I could get on Medicare even though I was under 65 because of the kidney disease. So that took a long process. Finally, in the last few months, it got all approved, got my secondary insurance, and have drug coverage. So, but I went quite a few months racking up bills through dialysis, which are about $2,000 a pop. So just do the math in your head, $6,000 a week. And I was temporarily on Medicaid, but that ended February 1st. So from February, March, April, May, I was being billed $6,000 a week for dialysis alone. So now they're obviously back billing everything because my Medicare got approved to be retroactive back to November of 2017. So things are looking up financially. Had to pay out some big chunks of money to get that done, but thank God I was able to do that. So here we are in the middle of September. I'm feeling much better than I have in a long time. A huge problem for me was stamina. Being in a hospital bed for a month back in April, and then being in Manor Care for 4 months, even though there was some PT, physical therapy and occupational therapy, wasn't nearly enough, and your muscles just waste away. So they say, I think it's basically for every day you spend in a bed, hospital bed, or even in your home bed, it can take 3 to 4 days to recuperate your strength from that. So think about that. Times you may have had the flu or been down with a really bad cold, and it takes you a while. It takes you another week or so before you start feeling back to yourself. Well, times that by 5 months or so, 6 months total probably with the other hospitalization, and it's going to take quite a long time before I do feel the strength that I did. So anyway, this being the premiere vlog, I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. I'm just recording this. I'm going to figure out how to edit out that boondoggle that happened earlier, and I'll update you again as to what's going on with me currently and the future. And like I said, probably at least once a week, possibly more, we'll see. Obviously, positive thoughts to all you out there watching this. And if you have bad things going on in your life, it can always be worse, people. Just when you think you've hit rock bottom, the rocks give out from underneath you and other people. So try to stay strong. Try to stay positive. It's not always an easy thing. But know that there's people out there that care about you and love you and want the best for you. So try to take some solace in that. And that's what I do and have done since this has all happened to me. So have a great day. Have a great week. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.